So I look back through my life to discover the watershed moment, the point of impact, the event horizon that once passed would prefigure my survival in public life. Well, there was a moment in my youth when my native grandiosity and the occasional but very real timidity I experienced as a child came together in a fateful way. It was during a press conference for the Goonies. To set the stage, folks are often curious. What was it like growing up in Hollywood? It's a big question I get a lot. Well, you all know my father, my brother, somewhere back there. Raise your hand. What's up? There he is. There's my brother. He's starring in tomorrow, this coming weekend. But anyway. Thank you. For those of you who didn't Wikipedia us before you came to the speech, my mother is Patty Duke, who won an Academy Award when she was 14, 15. Clapping an adventure. She played Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker. So, as well as the Patty Duke Show, and she's on Broadway now, or not on Broadway, she's in San Francisco playing in Wicked, the musical. So, if you find yourself on the West Coast, you must partake before February, I think, of my mother's great work. She's playing Morrible. I can never remember it. She's like, Morrible, like horrible. And I took my kids up to see her, and she was, I was sort of nervous if she'd be right for that part, or what it would be like. I mean, I love that play and stuff, that musical. And at one point late in the show, she's up on that thing, and she goes, "She's a wicked witch!" And I'm like, "That's my mom!" Thinking back to our childhood, I came from a family that emphasized Little League in school and just normal stuff. My parents are famous actors, but that certainly didn't seem like a big deal to me or to my little brother. I would say that we were loosely aware of their professional life most of the time. As for the idea of auditioning for a movie or a TV show, it wasn't a frequent part of my life, my childhood, but it seemed logical and yielded 2 jobs before I was 12. The process carried a requisite amount of anxiety, but within hours, win or lose the part, the experience faded into memory as the prospect of riding bicycles with my friend into Westwood Village was of much greater importance. So having established that, when I was 12, I got the part of Mikey in the Goonies, which was thrilling, and I knew that it was big. I'm not sure I really knew what big meant. Perhaps it was because Steven Spielberg had just put out E.T. and it had played in one of 20 theaters around us forever, just on and on. Perhaps it's because I knew that it meant money. Buy a car type money. Pay for a couple of years of college type money. Or buy as many Smurfs as I wanted type money. What I was into. I still am. My kids come home from the Rose Bowl swap meet and they always present me with some new cool Smurf that I didn't know existed and we put on my little thing. It's because my dad had little trolls and gnomes on his thing. Wait a minute, Hobbit? Never. My parents were sort of philosophical about their kid making so much money. My mom wanted to make sure it was protected because of her childhood experiences. I made probably $50,000 gross or $30,000 net, which would sit in an account until I turned 18. Remember, my father emphasized college. I think he was tickled that now we would share the brunt of that expense. My mother talked a lot about how land was the best investment. My parents, particularly my mother, made and spent a lot of money, but it didn't feel like we were rich. Anyway, we made the movie. I think the Goonies had a price tag of something around $50 million. I was never 100% sure, but it employed hundreds of people and would likely financially benefit the lawyers, the executives, and many others, including the shareholders of Warner Brothers, i.e. members of the public, who were enjoying the freedom and risks of capitalism and were looking for a good investment besides land. When it came time to promote the film, I was brought with my fellow Goonies to a hotel in Westwood, California, conveniently, and without one word of guidance from anyone, I suppose they thought hearing from the kids without programming would be best, we were brought into a room with dozens of cameras and journalists, and, you know, it was like a press conference. I watched as Dick Donner, the director, was fielding questions. There's a microphone sitting in front of me, and I had the thought, holy crap, I better have something to say. Well, no one, at least most people, and certainly not me, wanted to seem trite or trivial. So I suddenly realized that I'd better be ready to talk. Despite being nervous, I tried to act calm as my thoughts were racing. I wanted to be as articulate as possible, as informed as possible, as filled with as much meaning as possible. I don't remember. Probably wasn't any of those things. Actually, I don't even know if I was given the opportunity to talk at that press conference, but it doesn't matter, because there in that moment, in the crucible of commerce, at the spearhead of popular culture, there in that very place, at that very moment, was born from a set of values given by my parents, namely, to be a conscientious and upstanding member of society who cares about people, particularly those who are disadvantaged. And I was encouraged to have a spirit of brotherly love for my fellow man, and had the desire nurturing me to want to live in a world where nations work together, envisioning a clean, safe place where prosperity and harmony reigned, etc. There, at that very moment, was born a brand, shiny new member of the Hollywood liberal media elite. A prepubescent member of the liberal media elite, but someone, a celebrity-come opinion maker in larva form, who realized for the first time, more than that, who experienced firsthand that there was a direct connection between the creation of a really fun movie, the studio's financial need to make as many members of the public aware of the movie as possible, and the requisite response from the public to enjoy the movie, hopefully, and who quite possibly would develop an even greater curiosity about those who made it, particularly those of us who were in it, because we were so cool and they might want to be friends with us. These newly minted audience members and neophyte cultural connoisseurs might therefore be willing to listen to what we have to say off-screen about the movies, of course, but perhaps about anything else. Global warming, animal rights issues, healthcare, whatever. This newfound authority, well, if not authority, influence, actually, visibility is probably the best word. This newfound visibility is conferred not on merit or the basis of any particular knowledge or expertise in an area that a celebrity may wish to amplify, but by the curiosity of the public. What follows from that is an opportunity to become knowledgeable, to develop yourself, to become a good advocate for things you believe in. In short, what follows is an opportunity for leadership.